on page 32 in our ISN, solving equations. This should all be a review. We're going to talk about solving one step with adding and subtracting, one step with multiplying and dividing, and then finish off with a two-step review. Okay. So one-step equations using addition. Remember, guys, whenever we see an equation, usually what we're trying to do is figure out what our variable is supposed to equal. So in this case, the first one right over here says y plus 6 is equal to 9. Well, we want to solve for y. How do we do that? Well, we do that by doing the opposite operation. The opposite of a plus sign is a minus sign, or subtraction sign. So we're going to subtract 6 from both sides, because whatever you do to one side of the equal sign, you must do to the other side of the equal sign. So you subtract 6 and you get a 0 and a y, or just a y on the left, and then 9 minus 6 gives you 3, so your final answer is y is equal to 3. That's a one-step equation. Super easy, super fun, right? After that, we're going to look at this one. Well, it's exactly like this one, so I want you to do this one on your own, number 2. Then this one, it's a little different, but if you look at it, it's essentially the same. You have a variable being added to a number. All we want to do is move this number to the side with no variable. So we're going to do the opposite operation, so subtract 4 from both sides, and you'd be left with an a on this side is equal to negative 3 minus 4, whatever that gives you. And then you guys could do number 2, 3, 4 on your own. The sum of a number and 3 is negative 2. Find the number. The sum meaning add, sum of a number, well, we don't know what the number is, so we'll just say it's the letter N for number, and 3, sum of a number and 3, so you're adding the number to 3, is or is equal to negative 2. So that's our equation for that problem. Go ahead and do number 5 on your own also. Equations involving subtraction right down here, right underneath it. The same exact thing as we did over here. Let's change this up. I'll do number 9 so you guys can get see how these work. Negative 9 is equal to q minus 8, I believe. All right, yeah. Okay, so again, we're going to do the same thing. We want to get our variable by itself, which is q. So we're going to do the opposite operation, which is addition. So you add 8 to both sides of the equal sign. You add 8, you're essentially ending up with you're canceling them, or end up with a q on that side. This little thing in math will help you distinguish it from a 9. So go ahead and add that period q at the end. So negative 9 plus 8 will give you a negative 1. Same signs add and keep, different signs subtract. So 9 minus 8. Keep the sign of the bigger number, so negative. Then you'll be exact, right? Okay, if you decrease a number by 4, the result is negative 5. Find the number. I'll let you guys do this. So you're decreasing a number by 4. So you have a number that you're decreasing by 4, which will give you a negative 5. What will that give you? Set it up and solve for the variable on your own. Okay, next page, equations involving multiplication. So I just turned the flap over. Equations involving multiplication. 20 is equal to 4z. Let's see. Yeah, we'll do that one. So again, same exact concept. We have 20 is equal to 4z. You want to get your variable by itself. In order to do that, we're going to use the opposite operation. When you have a number right next to a variable, that means it's being multiplied by it. So over here, you're multiplying g times negative 8. Well, you divide both sides by 4, right? Because what you do to one side of the equal sign, you must do to the other side. So you're dividing this side by 4, you're dividing this side by 4. Well, 4 divided by 4 gives you 1. 1z is the same thing as just a z by itself. Remember, because whenever you have a number multiplied by 1, it's that number itself. So z is going to be 20 divided by 4 is 5. 5 times 4 is 20. 5. Z is 5, so 5 times 4 is 20. So we are correct. Our final answer is z is equal to 5. Go ahead and do number 2, 3, 4 as an example. Let me help you out. Let's do this one. Divide both sides by -6 because we want to get that e by itself. -6, right? Both sides of the equal sign. That's going to cancel. Well, it doesn't actually cancel. It turns into a 1 or 1e or just an e. 30 divided by 6. Figure that out on your own. The product of a number and 5 is -35. Find the number. The product means multiplication, right? So the product of a number, so you're multiplying a number by 5, and that's going to give you -35. A number x times 5 gives you -35. That's how you set it up. And go ahead and solve for x on your own, guys. Equations involving division, x is divided by 4. Sorry, x divided by 4 is equal to 7. I'm just trying to see if I can find, I'll do this example right over here. Okay, so -12 is equal to r over 2. Well, r and 2, we have that in a fraction form. So remember, whenever you see a fraction, it means division. The opposite of division is multiplication. So we're going to multiply both sides by 2. Right? Multiply that side by 2, multiply that side by 2. We end up with 2 over 2. 2 over 2 gives us a 1 or 1r or just an r. 2 times -12 is -24. Go ahead and make sure you use your triangle. I'll draw it up here just to remind you. We have 2 negatives and a positive. Remember, 2 negatives make a positive, so that's how you know which sign you have 2 of. So, if we want to use this pyramid for this multiplication, because remember, this is only for multiplication and division. Multiply and divide only. So negative times a positive, negative times a positive, cover those 2 up, you end up with a negative answer. The quotient of a number and -4 is 5. The quotient of a number and -4 is 5. So a number divided by -4 gives you the answer 5. So keep your signs in mind, guys, when you solve for that one. Go ahead and set it up on your own and solve it. I'll help you set it up. Division, I feel like, is a little harder than multiplication. A quotient of a number and -4 is 5. Finish that off on your own. You can do that. Okay. Number 1. Now these are 2-step equations, guys. It says 3x plus 2 is equal to 23. Well, now we have to figure out how to do a 2-step equation. If you remember from last year, we want to try and get our variable by itself again, but before we do that, we have to get rid of everything else that surrounds it. So over here, we have this plus 2, so we're going to start with that first. Okay? You start with whatever's the furthest away from your variable. So you subtract 2 from both sides. There we go. 3x is to 21. Now we have 3x is equal to 21. You're going to do the opposite again. 3 is multiplied by x, so we're going to do the opposite, which is 3 divided by 3. And so we're left with a 1x, or just an x, is equal to 21 divided by 3 gives us the number 7. Right? Number 4 right here, we see a fraction. But remember, we have our fraction, or our variable with the fraction, so you're going to remove this part first, and you're going to do the opposite operation, which is subtract 7 from both sides, and then whatever you get here, you're left with k over negative 2 is equal to 10 minus 7. Go ahead and finish number 2, 3, 4 on your own. 5, 6, 7, and 8 are all word problems, so you're going to have to set them up before you solve them. So let's look at number, let's do number 5 and 7. I think those would be good. 3 more than the product of a number. Actually, you know what? I'll help you set up 7 and then you can do it wrong. But I'll do number 5 with you. 3 more than the product of a number, and 4 is 15. Find the number. So if you look, it says 3 more than means addition, right? More than, so 3 more than the product means multiplication. It does help to underline and then kind of write out what it actually means. So product means multiplication, so I'm going to draw that multiplication sign right above it. Let me fix it. Okay. Of a number, and 4 is 15. So the product of a number and 4, number x, times 4, 3 more than that, plus 3 is equal to 15, right? Another way to write that would look a lot better, is 4x, because remember, when you have a number and a variable right next to each other, it means multiplication. Plus 3 is equal to 15. So go ahead and start off like this if it helps you to set it up easier, and then fix it to make it look a little more appealing, I guess. Okay, so again, we're going to do the same thing. Subtract 3 from both sides because we want to remove whatever is furthest from the variable first. Negative 3 from both sides. Or sorry, subtract 3 from both sides. That gets turned into a 0. 4x is equal to 15 minus 3 is 12. Now divide both sides by 4 because we're multiplying 4 and x by each other, right? It's the opposite. And our answer is x is equal to 3. X is equal to 3. Go ahead and write it out just like this, guys. That way I know where your answer is. The product of 2, number 7, the product of 2 and a number is increased. Increased product of 2 and a number is increased by 9. So the product, you're multiplying a number by 2 and then you're increasing it by 9. The result will be negative 17. I feel like that's actually, let's do this one, number 6. 5 less than is subtraction. 5 less than 3 times a number, 3 times a number, 3 times a number, 3 times a number b. 5 less than 3 times a number, so less than, you're multiplying the number by 3, then taking 5 away from that is going to be 1. Okay. If you